Hello and welcome back, you guys. Today I'm going to tell you how I gained 4,327 crowns in the year 2024. I kept stats for all of my crowns every single day of the year, and we're going to go all the way into it, and I'm going to show you how I did it. If you'll look here, I just have a brief kind of overview of what we're doing today with the timestamp, so you can skip ahead if you so desire. But without further ado, let's get started. So beginning at the start of the year, I had 4,864 crowns. I had two main goals. My first one was just to get on the crown leaderboard. I needed 5,000, so I was super close. And secondly, I figured with how much I could play, I was estimating to get roughly 8,800 crowns by the end of the year. In the end, I got 9,191. That was unintentional, by the way. So my math was pretty decent. I was close. And actually gained more, so it worked out in my favor. And before I get too far into this, I think an important question to answer is, why did I do this? Why did I track every single day, and why do I care? Well, the short answer is, obviously I love Fall Guys.
What?
Obviously. And my favorite way to play is just by grinding crowns. I don't know why, something about it is just fun to me. I like seeing the number go up. And I thought, you know what? It couldn't be too hard to just keep a tally every day. Where did I start? Where did I end? And then, of course, repeat that 365 times. So with that being said, what we're going to do here is I'm just going to go over a quick month-by-month overview, and then we're going to get a tally of everything in the end. So, for example, we're going to say, how many crowns did I get in the month of January, February, and so on? And then we're going to get a tally of how many times did I get 5 crowns in a day? How many times did I get 10, 20, so on and so forth, okay? So, beginning with January, I gained 371 crowns, or just under 12 a day. February, not my best, 241 or 8.31 a day. March, 231 or 7.45 a day. April, 254 or 8.47 per day. May, my first 400 crown month of the year, we got 13.45 crowns per day, 417 total. In June, ironically, my first month of summer, I had the fewest crowns I got in a month at just 225. Which is 7.5 a day. July, 407, which is just over 13 a day. August, we had 562 crowns gained, which is 18.13 a day. And you see we had quite the stretch there, beginning on the 17th. In September, 329, just under 11 per day. October, 395, 12.74 a day. Halloween was particularly a busy day for me. I got 40. November, 355, or 11.83 crowns a day. And finally, December just wrapped up 540, which is 17.42 per day. And I feel like I need to defend my honor here. You may have noticed in February there was a day I got 0 crowns. I can explain. That's the only day since I started playing Fall Guys I did not play the game. And that is because the power went out. You can imagine I wasn't happy that day, but I just had to explain myself there. Now, moving on to my favorite part of this video. This is going to be a lot of numbers. If you're not hip to it, fine, but I think this is pretty cool. So looking here, what I did is I kept kind of superlative stats for the first 6 months of the year and the second 6 months. And I'll kind of just go over the quick hits, but what you can clearly see is I definitely got a lot busier the second half of the year. There could be a couple reasons for that. I think the biggest thing is I got wise to how I wanted to grind crowns. More on that later. And the other thing is, so I had 2 school semesters this year. The first half of the year was a lot more difficult. I actually had less workload, but one class in particular was so difficult that it required so much of my attention, and thus it really kind of took away from playing Fall Guys. At least I somewhat have my priorities straight. But anyway, what's interesting is if we look at the second half of the year, the 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 crown days, I got at least 5 crowns a day, 90% of the time, 10 crowns in a day, 68% of the time, 20 crowns in a day, almost 25% of the time, and in 10% of days, I got 30. What I also find interesting is if you'll notice, the total crowns I got in the first half of the year, it's 1,739. Those of you with a good memory will know that is exactly the amount of crowns for a golden wolf, which I thought was kind of funny maths. And finally, I do find it funny how all across the board, in every metric, the second 6 months of the year was better than the first, except for one: most crowns in a day. I think, if I remember correctly, that 54 that I got was during Classic Explore, and not only did I, well, obviously play a lot, but I believe I had a live stream that day, and we got a lot of crowns on live, which certainly passes the time, makes it a little easier. But by that token, I had a day in December where I got 42 crowns in a day, 2 days in a row, to kind of counterbalance that. So all told, if we look at the overall, it was, of course, like I said, 4,327 on the year, which works out to about 11.85 per day and about 360 per month. Naturally, the second 6 months was much more prolific than the first, but if you bounce it out, that's what we get. And as it happens, that's good enough for top 100 in the world for this year, which I think is pretty cool. And in fact, according to the Crown leaderboard, it puts me right at about 97. Now, the Crown leaderboard's data only goes as far as when I entered. If you will recall, I entered at 5,000 crowns, but I had to gain about 136 to get there. So by my estimate, I should be around top 95 most crowns gained for the year. Which, hey, you know, is it top 10? No. But for somebody who's a full-time student who works a job and likes to think he has a life outside of this game, you may roll your eyes at that. I think it's pretty good. Now, before we wrap up, I do think we have 2 more questions to answer. The first one is, how did I get these crowns? What did I do to grind these crowns? For the most part, what I got wise to was the importance of completing the Fame Pass and getting invisible shards for your playing. So mostly what I did is, when the Fame Pass would come out, I would grind it as fast as I could, whatever that looked like. And then, once I finished it, I would basically just grind knockout wins. And I would try to get at least, like, if nothing else, 5 to 10 a day, just at least. And then on top of that, the cherry on top would be playing duos, playing squads, and any LTM that came my way that was grindable. I feel like there wasn't a lot this year, but there were a couple gems like Classic Explorer, which made it easier, and ultimately helped me get, you know, about 4,300 crowns. And the second question, and this might be the most important one, is what is my future in crown grinding? Because last year, or should I say 2 years ago, in 2023, I got around 4,400 crowns actually, which is interesting because that was the year of the 1 round 1 crown shows. Last year, of course, 4,327. Could I do that again? The answer is I don't know. I don't know. There's been many times where I've told myself, okay, this is it. Marvelous, I'm done. 5,000, I'm done. And yet I keep going. So it's likely I'll keep going anyway, but I just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep it up. Definitely until 10,000, and then I'll have to make a decision. We'll see. So for now, it is up in the air, but in any case, at least for the next 3 months or so, I will be grinding to 10,000, and then maybe we can reassess. But with all that being said, I do think that just about does it for today. It has been very fun grinding all these crowns. There have been many days where I've had like 9, I've gotten off, and it's 1 a.m., and I'm like, okay, let me get 1 more to make it 10. So there's been some, there's been some days. There's days where you win 10 knockouts in a row, and then the next time you get on, you lose 4 in a row, and you think you suck at this game. And maybe you do. But anyway, it's been fun, and I appreciate all the support. If you have any questions, if you want any additional information, whatever it may be, let me know. But thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.